The price of Bitcoin and Ethereum are skyrocketing following Fed Chair Powell's conference in Jackson Hole. We've broken out of the Ethereum bull flag exactly as predicted, which is fantastic news. We made a video only one day ago talking about the Ethereum bull flag and why I'm going to be opening a low risk Ethereum position and then potentially continue to scale into it following what Fed Chair Powell says and what happens if he's dovish or if he's hawkish. I will be adding more to those positions, and I mentioned that over on the Crypto Kids Telegram community, which you can join using the link in the description down below. It's completely free to join. I said this morning that the 4-hour Ethereum chart is currently presenting an inverse head and shoulders pattern alongside a breakout above the bull flag we discussed 2 videos ago. So I highlighted the inverse head and shoulder, and I said that I have a low risk breakout trade open over on weeks. We'll consider increasing the position size based off of Fed Chair Powell's live speech tonight. Right now, we should still be cautious because you never know what's going to happen with these speeches. But I did open a breakout trade, and I believe we shared that last night on yesterday's video, which broke 1,100 likes and 15,000 views. Unbelievable. Thank you all so much for all of that love. Means the world to me. So yeah, Ethereum has broken out. We're up approximately 10% in the past 24 hours. That long trade is doing nicely over on initially it was the $5,000 trading challenge, but just with Ethereum alone, we've made almost over, or at least close to that $5,000 we began with. And most of our other profits relies on Bitcoin, and we have some other altcoins too. Bitcoin also doing nicely. We're going to break even on that recent trade we opened at the CME gap, the 17,600, a very important level, by the way. I will be discussing that with you in a second too, but our Bitcoin positions on weeks are doing phenomenal. Alongside our Ethereum positions. If you're looking for a place to be trading, you can go to the first link in the description below for today's video and sign up to weeks to get free VIP level 2 status 24 hours after you create your accounts. This will give you 25% off your trading fees. If you are a frequent trader, if you're somebody that has massive positions that you traditionally open on exchanges, 25% off trading fees will increase your profitability by massive amounts, because the bigger your positions are, the more fees that you have to pay. So with the VIP level 2 status, it takes the stress off with the fees. So make sure to use the first link if you want to support the channel and trade on weeks like us. Then you can use the first link to sign up and grab that incredible campaign. So what is happening to the price action for Ethereum? I think altcoin season the sentiment for altcoin season definitely on crypto Twitter is back. But I think the probabilities of altcoin season have tremendously increased after what Fed Chair Powell said over on Jackson Hole. And I will cover what he said, but I want to go over the Ethereum price analysis first, and then we will go over into the rest of the altcoin market, which is pumping pretty vigorously in the past hour and also in the past 24 hours. So for Ethereum, we mentioned that the retest to the $4,000 level was a really, really nice thing for Ethereum to have done, because finding that multi-year resistance of $4,000, that cursed level, going back down to it, finding support there is a very bullish thing. So that was one of my reasons for being bullish on Ethereum. It was that retest of $4,000. And obviously we had the bullish flag, which has a target of $5,500 over on the 4-hourly time frame. That's the target for that bull flag. The inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hourly that we talked about on Telegram, that's target was $4,650-ish exactly. So that's already been hit. But the macro or the midterm target is 5.5, and the macro target for Ethereum, in my opinion, lies at the $8,000 territory. And that is leaning into the fact that, well, when you look at the multi-cycle resistance on Ethereum and the total crypto cap charts, they are still lagging behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin has already been able to retest that multi-cycle resistance and even breach above it. What happens in every single crypto cycle is the altcoin market catches up with Bitcoin later on. When you see the Fed starting to cut rates, that's when the catch-up happens. Bitcoin leads the way, and then Ethereum and the rest of the crypto market, they follow along. And I think today's Fed cuts or dovish, unprecedented dovishness from the Fed Chair Powell is strengthening that probability. And I think Ethereum will go to that resistance, follow Bitcoin, and reach $8,000. Remember, the entire on-chain economy currently sits and will sit on in the future primarily on Ethereum. Ethereum has the highest market share for stablecoins. Ethereum has the highest market share for tokenization. Ethereum is going to be used. It's going to be a used layer one, and it's going to be the one that leads the way for altcoin season to begin. And I think $8,000 for Ethereum actually makes a lot of sense. Congrats if you're able to claim your $1,000 free Ethereum position. That campaign is no longer available, but we were talking about why setting positions open to open longs on Ethereum would make sense with that free trade. So if you've done that and made free money, then also congratulations. Let me know in the chat section below if you were able to do that. So overall, Ethereum very bullish. Obviously, the crypto market cap has that same, the total three, so excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, that same sort of catch up to do. We have the cup and handle pattern forming. That's going to break to the upside in a soon amount of time. We're not going to see the same vigorous altcoin season that we got back in 2020 and 2021. Since there is no COVID-like event, there won't be the same amount of money printing. There won't be the same amount of rate cuts down to 0%. There won't be the same amount of quantitative easing. I don't think those things will happen. But I think what we will get, which is expected to be now a full percentage points decrease or a full percent decrease by March of 2026, I think that's going to be enough to elevate the total three crypto cap at least to the 1.7, $1.8 trillion levels, and that will provide our large caps enough returns for us to make to make good money and be satisfied and have some sort of profits that we take away from altcoins this cycle. So that is going to happen, in my opinion. We don't need to worry about that necessarily. Solana back to $194. That has a beautiful cup and handle for the long term. I think Solana can reach $500 this cycle. If we go to Dogecoin, also has a phenomenal chart on the weekly, but we've covered that before, so no need to revisit it in detail. BNB looks amazing. I will get into the BNB chart by the end of this video, so stay tuned. I have some breaking news for BNB, and I want to tell you what my target for BNB is. If you haven't heard it before, we already created a video talking about the inverse head and shoulder breakout, but I think it's going to go up tremendously to the upside. So stay tuned for the BNB news. Let's go over Bitcoin, then we will go over what Fetcher Powell really said. Bitcoin is at 16,799. We came down and closed or tested that support line of 11,900 exactly. We expected that to happen. We came down to it. Perfect. We had a bearish case scenario for if we fell below that line of support. We said Bitcoin will likely go down to 100. I am proud to say that the probabilities of that happening have reduced significantly since we're getting a very, very strong push, which is exactly what we were looking for from that 11.9 level of support. Amazing. Bear cases have diminished significantly, but the next level of important resistance that Bitcoin will face, Ethereum, by the way, in the short term, we will likely face resistance at that high we created last week at 4.7, FYI, but Bitcoin is going to face resistance at the $17,500 to $600 levels, the exact area of which we opened that Bitcoin CME gap position and said it was a good DCA. That's the level that Bitcoin will likely face some good resistance because it's the average trading price of the 2-month range that we've created, and a lot of volume sits at 17,600. So it's very possible that Bitcoin actually faces resistance there. The moment we break above that, I think it's all throttles set, or I forgot the expression, but I think it's go time for Bitcoin to go up to 135 to 140K by September, and then decide to maybe see a short-term top in September, then later on continue pumping. If the Fed has to print more money to pay off their debt, maybe we see an extension of the Bitcoin bull cycle. Those narratives are still so far away in the future. I don't want to really go into that, but I think that Bitcoin's chances of increasing to the upside until the final week of September have gone up pretty drastically. So Fetcher Powell, the things that he said that made us so bullish and pumped massively to the upside were the following. He said that reasonable base case is that inflation effects of tariffs will be short-lived. This is the same guy that not long ago mentioned that he thinks that tariffs will be more and more inflationary. And because we got such a big shock, so many short positions got liquidated, so many people started to buy, and that's why prices went banana. Possible that tariff-driven upward pressure on prices could spur a lasting inflation dynamic, but it is unlikely given downside risks to the labor markets. Again, just phenomenal that he has said that. You would have never expected him to be saying that. He also mentioned that with a policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance. So he's clearly saying that they're going to shift their policy stance from being restrictive to go into the easing stance, and that will cause altcoin season to happen. That will help Bitcoin. So it's really, really good stuff. It was super unexpected. I really, really didn't expect this to happen. And because of that unexpectedness, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are pumping. Speaking of cryptocurrencies, we'll go into one altcoin and then we will leave you there. Just note that President Trump will be going live in 2.5 hours. We have no idea what he's going to talk about, but be careful of some volatility that could be taking place in 2.5 hours' time. The altcoin I want to talk to you about is BNB, because now, if you have a Rackbank bank account in the United Arab Emirates, one of the biggest banks in the UAE, you can actually directly buy BNB, which is amazing. It hit a brand new all-time high of $880 today. Our target for the breakout of this huge inverse head and shoulders is $1,250. I think is super achievable, and I do have long positions on Weeks and Coinflare. So if you want to long BNB, then you can use the first link in the description down below to sign up to Weeks, and with your free VIP level 2 status, get a very nice long position on BNB for the long term with 25% off on your trading fees. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love that you've been giving us over the past videos. It's truly, truly appreciated. With that said, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you all very soon on the next update video. Take care, everyone, and as always, bye-bye.